You wake up, go to work, pay your bills, and repeat the cycle. Yet somehow, no matter how hard you try, there's always more month than money. The stress bubbles under the surface every time a bill arrives, or an unexpected expense throws your plans off course. You might be earning more than you did a few years ago, but it never feels like enough. The bank balance doesn't reflect the effort, and the future feels like something you can't afford to think about. It's exhausting, and it raises the haunting question. What would your life look like if you never had to worry about money again? Not because you won the lottery or stumbled into a lucky break, but because you understood how to build real financial freedom. A kind of freedom that goes beyond flashy cars or big houses. A freedom made of peace of mind, time to breathe, and the power to choose how you live your life. In this video, we're not going to talk about gimmicks or get-rich-quick schemes. We're going to walk through a simple, proven path that anyone, yes, anyone can take to rewrite their financial story for good. Let's dive in. Number 1. What is financial freedom really? Financial freedom is a term that gets thrown around a lot, but very few people truly understand what it means. It's not just about being rich or making millions of dollars. True financial freedom is about having control over your life, your time, your energy, your choices. It's the ability to say no to things that drain you, and yes to the things that matter, without money being the deciding factor. It's not about luxury, it's about liberation. Financial freedom comes in levels. The first level is basic security, being able to cover your essentials like rent, food, and utilities without stress. The second level is financial independence, having enough passive income or savings to sustain your lifestyle without needing to work a job you hate. And then there's wealth abundance, when your money not only works for you, but also empowers you to make a greater impact, whether that's through giving, building, or exploring life on your own terms. Most people, however, are stuck in survival mode, living paycheck to paycheck, constantly reacting to emergencies, and feeling like they're always catching up. That's not just a money problem, it's a mindset problem. The belief that struggle is normal, that you have to trade your life for a paycheck forever. Breaking free starts when you question those beliefs, when you begin to see money not as something you chase, but as a tool you learn to master. Financial freedom isn't a fantasy, it's a skill set, a series of choices, and above all, a new way of thinking. Number 2, the financial freedom formula. Financial freedom isn't magic. It's not reserved for the lucky few or those born into wealth. It's a formula, simple, powerful, and proven. At its core, the path to financial freedom is built on 4 unshakable pillars. Spend less than you earn, save and invest consistently. Eliminate bad debt, and build income-producing assets. These aren't trendy hacks or overnight success tricks. They're timeless principles that anyone, regardless of their starting point, can apply. Let's start with spending less than you earn. This is the foundation. If you're constantly outspending your income, no amount of financial advice will save you. It doesn't matter if you earn $40,000 or $400,000 a year. If you spend it all or more, you'll stay stuck. The key is to create a gap between what comes in and what goes out. And that gap becomes your freedom fund. It allows you to save, invest, and breathe. The second piece is saving and investing consistently. Saving is about security. Investing is about growth. Saving gives you a cushion for emergencies, peace of mind, and short-term goals. Investing, on the other hand, makes your money work for you. Through compound interest, disciplined investing in things like index funds, retirement accounts, or real estate can turn modest contributions into life-changing wealth over time. The magic isn't in the amount, it's in the consistency. Even $100 a month, invested wisely over 20 years, can become a small fortune. It's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market. Then there's eliminating bad debt. Debt is a silent thief. It robs your future to pay for your past. Credit card debt, payday loans, and financing lifestyle inflation all keep you trapped in the cycle of working to pay interest rather than building anything meaningful. Paying off high-interest debt aggressively is one of the fastest ways to buy back your freedom. It's like plugging the leaks in your financial boat. Once those are sealed, you can finally start sailing forward. The final pillar is building income-producing assets. This is where financial freedom accelerates. When you earn money from assets, whether it's rental properties, dividends, a digital product, or a business, you step out of the time for money trap. You build leverage. And the more you can rely on these income streams, the less dependent you are on a job, a boss, or even the economy. Consider the story of Maya, a single mom who once juggled 2 jobs and barely made ends meet. She started by cutting her spending, tracking every dollar, and building an emergency fund. She used the debt snowball method to pay off her credit cards one by one. Then she opened a Roth IRA and started investing $150 a month. Over time, she learned new skills, launched a small online business selling handmade jewelry, and gradually turned it into a full-time income. 10 years later, she's debt-free, has multiple income streams, and owns a home. Was it easy? No. Was it luck? Absolutely not. It was a formula applied with consistency. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. Financial freedom doesn't come from chasing shortcuts. It comes from following the system. You don't need to be a genius or an entrepreneur or have a 6-figure salary. You need discipline, patience, and the willingness to start where you are. When you understand and apply this formula, you stop hoping for freedom and start building it. Number 3, getting out of survival mode. Getting out of survival mode is the first and most crucial step on the path to financial freedom. It's the shift from constantly feeling anxious about money, wondering if you'll make rent, juggling bills, or avoiding your bank app, to finally feeling some control. Living paycheck to paycheck is emotionally and mentally exhausting. It's not just about a lack of money. It's about the fear that one unexpected expense could send everything crashing down. The way out begins not with a financial miracle, but with a mindset shift, moving from avoidance to awareness. Most people stuck in survival mode don't have a money problem. They have a clarity problem. They don't know where their money is going. So the first step is simple but powerful. Track every dollar, not to punish yourself, but to wake up. Budgeting isn't restriction, it's recognition. It shows you your patterns, your priorities, and your power to change. Whether it's using an app or a notebook, the act of writing down income and expenses builds awareness. From there, it's about finding and protecting that small gap between what you earn and what you spend. That gap is your lifeline. Building an emergency fund is the next essential piece. Even $500 in a separate savings account can create breathing room and reduce stress. The goal is to slowly build toward 3-6 months of living expenses. But it starts small. $10 here, $20 there. The act of saving anything when you feel like you have nothing is a radical act of self-respect. It's proof that you're taking control. And the truth is, most people don't get rich with giant windfalls. They get rich because they stop letting little leaks drain them dry. Cutting lifestyle inflation is part of that. When you get a raise or some extra money, the default reaction is to spend more. But real freedom starts when you don't upgrade your life every time your income goes up. Instead, you bank the difference. You buy freedom, not flash. There's also a deep psychological component here. When you're in survival mode, it's easy to believe that nothing will ever change. You may feel embarrassed, ashamed, or even numb, but survival mode isn't a moral failure. It's often the result of systems, habits, or lack of financial education. The shift begins when you decide to stop waiting for rescue and start building your own way out. Focus on small wins. Cancel a subscription you don't use. Cook at home more often. Sell something collecting dust. These aren't just financial choices. They're emotional victories. Take the story of Luis, who in his early 20s was working 2 minimum wage jobs, constantly overdrawn and overwhelmed. One day, instead of ignoring his bank account again, he opened it and faced the reality. It was ugly, but it was also the moment everything started to change. He downloaded a free budgeting app, started tracking every cent, and committed to saving just $25 a week. Over time, he built a $1,000 emergency fund, paid off his high-interest credit card debt, and learned new skills online that led to a better-paying job. He still doesn't drive a flashy car or live in a luxury apartment, but he sleeps peacefully. He knows what he has, where it goes, and what he's working toward. That's real wealth at the beginning stage. The climb out of survival mode is slow, sometimes boring, and often unglamorous. But it's the foundation for everything else. You can't build wealth if you're constantly patching holes in your financial bucket. And you don't need a six-figure income to create stability. You need intention. This stage is about building habits, healing money shame, and proving to yourself that you are capable of change. Once you're out of survival mode, you don't just feel relief, you feel power. Because now, for the first time, you're no longer running from money. You're running with it. Number 4, building a freedom engine. Once you've escaped survival mode and have some stability, it's time to build your freedom engine. The financial engine that doesn't just keep you afloat, but drives you forward toward true independence. This is the stage where you stop trading all your time for money and start putting your money and skills to work for you. Think of it like building a machine that gains momentum over time. At first, it's slow and needs a push, but once it's moving, it begins to carry you. That momentum is what eventually creates freedom. Not overnight, but inevitably, if you stay consistent. At the core of this engine are two major components: increasing your income and investing your surplus. First, let's talk income. Most people rely on a single paycheck, and that's incredibly risky. One layoff, one injury, or one industry shift can bring everything crashing down. That's why building multiple income streams is critical. It starts with skill building, learning something that the market values, whether it's digital marketing, graphic design, coding, copywriting, or even flipping furniture. From there, it can evolve into side hustles, freelance work, or small businesses that start as part-time and eventually become passive or scalable. The key here is to think like an investor, even with your time. If you spend an hour watching Netflix, that hour is gone. But if you spend an hour learning a skill or building a product, that time can multiply. It's a shift from consumer to creator. One person might spend 10 hours a week on a YouTube channel or selling templates online, and within a year, that effort can bring in hundreds or even thousands of extra dollars each month. Not fast money, but freedom money. Now let's talk about the other engine component: investing. This is where your money starts earning money, quietly in the background, without needing your constant attention. Too many people think investing is only for the rich, or that it's like gambling. But in reality, long-term investing is one of the safest and most reliable ways to build wealth. And it doesn't require a finance degree, it just requires a shift in mindset. You don't need to pick stocks or chase trends. You can start with index funds. These are like giant baskets of stocks that represent the entire market. They're low cost, diversified, and historically, they grow over time. Let's use a metaphor. Imagine planting a tree. At first, it's just a tiny seed. But with regular watering, your consistent investments, sunlight, your financial knowledge, and patience time, it begins to grow. After a few years, it starts to bear fruit. Not all at once, but enough to notice. Eventually, that tree becomes so strong, it provides shade, food, and shelter without needing much from you. That's compound interest in action. If you invest just $300 a month starting at age 25, with an average return of 7% per year, by age 60, you could have over $500,000. That's not fantasy, it's math. Retirement accounts like a 401k, Roth IRA, or even simple brokerage accounts are tools to accelerate this. They offer tax advantages and keep your money working while you sleep. And you don't have to be rich to start. The earlier you begin, the more time your money has to multiply. Waiting costs you far more than starting small. Building your freedom engine also means protecting your mindset. Avoid lifestyle creep. Just because you're earning more doesn't mean you need to spend more. Channel your extra income into investments, not image. The wealthy don't flaunt, they multiply. You're not just working for today's comfort, you're building tomorrow's liberation. In this stage, every dollar has a job. Some are workers, active income. Some are builders, investments. And some are scouts, skills that open doors. As this engine grows, so does your sense of possibility. You realize that wealth isn't about luck or a lottery. It's about building a machine and giving it time to run. And when you feel that first surge of momentum, when your money makes more money without you lifting a finger, you'll know this is the beginning of true freedom. Number 5, scaling and sustaining wealth. Reaching the stage of financial momentum is a powerful place to be. But the real magic happens when you learn how to scale and sustain that wealth over time. This is where many people stumble. They hit a few financial wins, start to feel comfortable, and then slowly slip into old habits that quietly drain everything they've built. Sustaining wealth isn't about hoarding or obsessing over every penny. It's about building systems that protect your progress and allow your money to grow steadily, even while you focus on living your life. This is the stage where wealth becomes quiet, consistent, and intentional. The first major strategy for sustaining wealth is learning to avoid bad debt like the plague. Even at higher income levels, many people fall into the trap of financing lifestyles they can't truly afford. Just because you can qualify for the loan doesn't mean it's wise to take it. Bad debt, especially high-interest consumer debt, acts like a slow leak in your wealth bucket. It constantly siphons off money that could have been building your future. At this stage, being debt-free or strategically using only low-interest manageable debt, like for real estate or business growth, is a non-negotiable part of protecting your foundation. Equally important is the discipline to buy assets, not liabilities. Assets are things that grow in value or generate income. Stocks, real estate, businesses, intellectual property. Liabilities, on the other hand, look shiny but drain money from your pocket. Cars, designer items, even oversized homes if they exceed your needs. The wealthy understand this deeply. Every financial decision is a vote for your future self. They don't buy to impress, they buy to progress. You'll often find millionaires driving modest cars, living in average homes, and prioritizing investments over image. Why? Because they know wealth isn't what you show, it's what you keep. Now, to scale that wealth, you need systems. Systems turn good habits into autopilot behavior. Automating your savings and investments means you never have to rely on willpower or memory. You set it once and let it run. Transfers to your retirement account, contributions to your brokerage account, even separate savings for vacations or big purchases. This eliminates the stress of decision fatigue and protects you from lifestyle drift. Every dollar that comes in has a purpose before it's spent. Long-term planning becomes your secret weapon. This includes reviewing your finances regularly, setting annual financial goals, and checking your net worth every quarter. It's not about obsessing over numbers, it's about awareness. Because what you track, you can improve. This also means planning for major life events in advance, whether that's kids, a home, career transitions, or early retirement. Having a plan creates peace. It's the antidote to panic. Sustaining wealth also requires mastering your mindset around spending. Mindful spending doesn't mean depriving yourself. It means aligning your money with your values. You can absolutely enjoy your money, but do it intentionally. Spend extravagantly on what you love and cut ruthlessly on what doesn't matter. This approach creates a lifestyle that feels rich and aligned, rather than bloated and chaotic. When you spend with purpose, your purchases bring satisfaction, not regret. What separates those who build lasting wealth from those who lose it is consistency. It's not about hype, shortcuts, or secret formulas. It's about small, smart decisions made again and again over time. It's the entrepreneur who reinvests instead of splurging. The employee who maxes out a 401k before upgrading their car. The creative who licenses their work instead of trading hours for money. Quiet empires are built this way. No fireworks, just habits. And finally, financial literacy is not a one-time achievement. It's a lifelong practice. The rules of the game evolve. Markets shift. Opportunities change. The people who stay free are the ones who keep learning. Read books, listen to podcasts, learn from others who've walked the path. Stay curious, stay humble, and stay committed. Scaling and sustaining wealth is the reward for everything you've built so far. It's the chapter where your financial life stops being a daily grind and becomes a steady, supportive force in your life. A silent partner in every dream, a quiet confidence in every choice. And the best part, once your systems are running, you're free to focus on what really matters. Family, purpose, health, contribution. Because that's the true goal of financial freedom. Not just more money, but more life. Number 6, the mindset of financial freedom. Financial freedom isn't just a numbers game. It's a mindset shift. You can have all the knowledge about budgeting, investing, and debt repayment, but if your inner beliefs about money are rooted in fear, shame, or scarcity, you'll keep sabotaging your progress without even realizing it. Most of us carry unconscious money scripts picked up in childhood stories. Like money is the root of all evil. Rich people are greedy, I'm just bad with money. Or there's never enough. These beliefs shape how we earn, spend, save, and invest, often keeping us stuck in cycles that feel safe but small. Financial trauma, especially if you grew up in poverty or witnessed financial instability, can train your nervous system to associate wealth with danger or guilt. So even when opportunities arise, you might freeze, procrastinate, or shrink. Not because you don't want more, but because more feels unsafe. To break free, you must rewrite those scripts. Start by identifying them. Ask yourself, what did I learn about money growing up? Who did I watch struggle or succeed with it? What do I believe money says about me? Awareness is the doorway to change. From there, create new beliefs that align with your goals. Replace "I'm bad with money" with "I'm learning how to master money." Shift from "I never have enough" to "I always find a way to create more." These aren't just fluffy affirmations, they're cognitive reconditioning. You're training your mind to expect growth, not lack. Journaling is a powerful tool in this process. Write out, what do I believe about rich people and wealth? What am I afraid would happen if I became financially free? Who would I be if I felt safe with money? These prompts reveal the hidden patterns driving your choices. Pair this inner work with affirmations that reinforce your worth and potential. I deserve to thrive financially. Money supports my highest good. I am a powerful steward of abundance. Repeat them not because you feel them yet, but because repetition creates belief over time. Understand this: money amplifies who you are. It doesn't corrupt you. If you're generous now, you'll be generous with more. If you're responsible now, you'll handle more responsibly. The fear that wealth will change you often masks the deeper fear of stepping into your power. But financial freedom isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming fully yourself, without the constraints of lack or fear dictating your choices. Cultivating a growth-oriented, empowered money mindset is the foundation on which all wealth is built. It's how you shift from chasing money to attracting it, from scarcity to sufficiency, from fear to freedom. Number 7, the freedom lifestyle. Imagine waking up without an alarm, not because you're lazy, but because you no longer trade your energy for survival. You sip your morning coffee slowly, with nowhere you have to be, only places you choose to go. Maybe it's time spent with your kids, unhurried and present. Maybe it's pursuing that creative project that used to feel like a luxury, or traveling somewhere new without stressing over PTO limits or budget spreadsheets. This is the real vision of financial freedom. It's not about Lamborghinis or designer clothes. It's about reclaiming your time, your energy, and your peace. It's being able to say yes to what matters and no to what doesn't, without fear of consequences. Freedom isn't about a specific number in your bank account. It's about alignment with your values. For one person, that might mean a small home by the ocean and part-time work on passion projects. For another, it could mean being debt-free, helping their parents retire, or funding a nonprofit they believe in. The point is, freedom looks different for everyone. It's not about being rich in money, it's about being rich in choices. Real people are living this life right now, not because they won the lottery, but because they made small, intentional decisions over time. There's the single mom who slowly paid off her debt, built a freelance business from her kitchen table, and now works only while her kids are at school. There's the former corporate employee who left burnout behind and built a life doing meaningful work at half the hours and double the joy. There's the couple who chose simplicity over status, moved to a smaller town, grew a garden, and now spend their days teaching others how to do the same. None of them live like Instagram influencers. They live like people who are finally free. This kind of life doesn't require perfection, privilege, or a six-figure salary. It requires clarity on what you actually want and courage to build it, one decision at a time. Financial freedom is a path, not a jackpot. And the lifestyle it leads to is deeply personal, rooted not in what the world says success should look like, but in what you know peace feels like. The goal is not just money, it's meaning. And the reward isn't just financial, it's emotional, spiritual, and deeply human. Financial freedom isn't a fantasy reserved for the lucky few, it's a reality that anyone can build with the right mindset, tools, and consistency. It doesn't happen overnight, and it isn't always glamorous, but it is deeply empowering. The journey starts with survival, getting out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Then it moves into stabilization, managing money intentionally, eliminating bad debt, and gaining breathing room. From there, it's about scaling, building income-producing assets, and expanding your earning potential. You sustain this growth with habits, automation, and smart decisions. And eventually you soar, living on your own terms with freedom, peace, and purpose. You don't need to master everything at once. Start with one small step today. Maybe it's creating your first budget, automating a savings deposit, reading a book on personal finance, or finally launching that side hustle idea you've been sitting on. It's the small, consistent actions that change your future. You have more power than you think, not just to earn more, but to keep more, grow more, and use money in a way that supports the life you actually want. Don't let fear or complexity keep you stuck. Money is a tool, not your enemy, not your identity, and not your worth. It's a means to build the life you dream of. So ask yourself, what would life feel like if you never had to make a decision out of financial fear again? That version of you, the one who's free, clear-headed, and in control, isn't a myth. It's a future waiting for your action. Begin with one step, then another, then another. Before long, you'll look back and realize you didn't just earn more, you became more. Because in the end, the goal isn't more money. The goal is living life on your terms.